Are you addicted to romance like we are? Follow the journey of two soulmates in the sweet love story by Molly Summers. Sebastian had whittled it for her. She thought about last week when he'd fixed her sink. She'd lightly suggested that he whittle something for her. He'd done it. Of course he had. In the short time that she'd known Sebastian, hadn't he proven that he was the kind of man that she could count on? What the heck am I doing? A sense of urgency took over, and Erica started to make her way toward the door, hoping that he hadn't left yet. I'll be right with you, she told the customers that were walking around, looking the place over. She didn't wait around to hear their responses. Instead, she hurried outside, hoping that this time she could find the right words. Sebastian didn't know what had changed between the two of them in one day, but something was different. He could see the hesitation in her eyes. She had talked herself out of whatever was growing between them. He just knew it. He didn't know why, if he'd moved too fast with the kiss, but it was clear that something had happened. Crossing the street, he headed back toward his truck. He sighed, brushing his hair back off his face. He had quit smoking 5 years ago, but as he thought about the way that Erica had stepped away from him inside, he really wanted to light one up. Man, he felt like an idiot. He'd assumed after their kiss yesterday that things were going to progress between them, but she hadn't promised him anything of the sort. He had just reached his truck when he heard a familiar voice call out from behind him. "Sebastian, wait." When he turned around, it was a shock to see Erica jogging toward him, pausing for only a few seconds to check that the street was clear before hurrying forward. He didn't know what to make of the wide grin on her face. "I'm sorry I freaked out in there," she blurted out when she reached him. "It's all about my own hang-ups. I didn't mean to hurt you." "What are you saying?" "I love this." She held out the starfish he'd whittled for her. It was the size of her palm, and he smiled at her words. "I'm glad. I've been working on it in my free time for the last couple of days, and I wanted to give it to you today, to congratulate you on opening your business. You really are a good man, aren't you?" "I try," he grinned. "That's why I had to follow you out here. I couldn't let you leave without doing this." Erica wrapped her hands around his neck, pulling him close and pressing a kiss to his lips. He stepped closer until their bodies were flush against each other. They were in public, where anyone could see, but he didn't care. His blood was on fire, and whatever had happened before, the reason she had pulled away from him didn't matter. She was here now, in his arms, and they could work out any issues later. All he knew was that Erica was his girl, and he would do whatever it took to remind her of that from now on. When they pulled away, she looked up at him, and there was no conflict in her eyes now. "Have dinner with me tomorrow night," he said, putting himself out there once again. This time, he was sure that she wouldn't rebuff him. Then she grimaced. "I can't. I have book club. After. I don't care how late it is." Erica's eyes softened. "It's a date." Unable to help himself, Sebastian pulled her in for another kiss. He couldn't get enough of this woman.
Indulge in a timeless tale of love and new beginnings with this free romance. Book by Molly Summers. Get your copy free at RomanceReader.com/prequel.